Hey, what's up, guys? It is Alex here with my man, Will Winter, the COO of Agent
Hey everyone.
CRM. We're going to be breaking down AI and systems for agency owners. Now, this is a breakout session that we did at 8%, but we are recording it now live while we're both in our comfortable homes. For you who were not able to make it, we had standing room only, Will, in that room.
Yeah,
There was a
that
ton of
was really
people that
neat.
were, they wanted to know, as agency owners, what can I do to use AI to help build my agency? That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about today. So let
And
me get
we're
us
also
started off. Yeah.
let's just add one more thought here. Talking about making it easier for you and for your agents to hit home runs. The biggest takeaway that I had from doing this live, and we're going to dive in, is that a lot of people have not been fully taking advantage of tools that have been out there for actually
Yes.
quite a while now. Now, AI definitely, we're pioneering. There's some new stuff that's happening, but the whole automation side of setting up an agency or your agent's experience, there's a lot of cool tricks that can really take you to the next level and give you that edge
Mhm.
in the industry because a lot of people have focused so much on just selling policies or recruiting that they've missed the essential piece of building their agency, which is the bones, the structures, the behind the
Mhm.
scenes things that maybe aren't so exciting but really can give you that boost. Alex, you've got a shirt on. Do you want to highlight your shirt here?
Hey, my
My
workflows bring all the leads to the yard.
yeah, so we have a fun bunch of fun sayings, but really automations, there's a huge power to take your business to the next level. So let's dive in and go through the content here.
Yeah. So, as Will alluded to, there are so many tools, but there are still leads that are getting dropped through the cracks. So we're going to show you how to avoid that. One of the things that when I sit down on a private coaching call with an agency owner, one of the things that I stress is that they need a connected system, right? So if there's at any time you need to manually move data from one system to the next, you're going to have data that gets lost. Human error, you forget. You need a in-sync system that helps you as the agency owner save time. When it comes to your lead nurturing, you need a system that helps you book more appointments. And most importantly, you need a system that's going to support your team. We talk to agency owners that are trying to do it all. They're trying to be tech support. They're trying to be a lead generator. They want to wear all the hats, Will. They're just like, I need to do everything, but that
I
is not the
must
case.
control.
Yes. Find a tech partner. We would love to be the nerd in your corner, but find a tech partner that you trust that you can work with. And AI can help, but only if it's implemented intentionally. We see a lot of people take AI and like throw it against the wall. Like maybe this will help, maybe that'll help. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a plan of action for how to implement AI into your agency, if you're not addressing a pain point at a time, then what's going to happen is you're going to have these AI tools, but again, they're not going to be talking to each other. And so it's just going to add, it's going to create what we call in the tech world, it's going to create tech debt, where you have this buildup of tools that are just kind of all working on their own without working in sync. So I'm
Yeah.
going to turn it over to Will. Will, let's talk about the role of AI in their agency.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to clear up a misconception. First of all, there are two pieces of robots working to build your business. One of them is AI. That's kind of the new buzz the last few years is about this language learning models, these systems that can engage a little bit more
Mm,
dynamically. And then the other is automations. So we're going to use automations, which is like more hard rules, conditions, and set
yeah.
actions, and then AI, which can kind of bob and weave a little bit more dynamically. Those two together are what's going to help to scale your business. But we can use these tools together to qualify leads,
Mm,
speeding things up in the sales process, texting, or even voice AI, which is super cool to answer questions, handle follow up calls, reschedule. All these things can happen automatically so that you can focus on those high um, income earning actions. A lot of those things like follow up calls, rescheduling, answering questions, they need to happen, but it's maybe not the most effective use of your time. So we can
mm.
offload those tasks for your agency or for each individual agent so that they can get on the call and make the meaningful actions that they need in their day. So we're talking about text, we're talking about voice and email as well. Those three communication channels, especially, There are some other integration opportunities for social media, but really getting these pieces dialed in with the AI and automations to speed things along and even create a bit of a safety net, because each of these
Yes.
actions is like a crack. It's a handoff, another analogy, a handoff where the baton can get dropped. Or as I always bring up, bowling. If anyone is a bowler, I hate bowling. If you invite me to your birthday party and it's a bowling party, I probably will not show up. Maybe I'll sit on the sidelines and have some pizza. But the bowling, you get those bumper rails that go up. And that I still use those if I go, because I cannot figure out how to get the bowling ball to the end, to the pins, without those stupid bumper. I feel like such a child saying this, but some of your agents, as they're learning, those balls can fall in the gutter. Those leads can fall in the gutter, slip through the cracks, baton gets dropped, whatever analogy you use. We can use AI and automations to make sure there's smooth handoffs and those bumper rails so that the pin, the ball gets to the pins at the end, the lead gets to the sale, and renews as well, the whole journey.
Yeah. We had a situation on our side, that where we were having people comment on our social media posts. And because we didn't have automation in there, some of the comments were slipping through the cracks on our side.
Yeah.
And those were people who were very interested in doing business with us. So we're in the same boat. We also have to implement AI in our business so that we can help improve our lead flow. One of the things that we're starting to use and we're really loving it on our side are these text bots. Now you can use them in your agency. This is so you can, I want you to picture a client or a prospect coming into your agency. And, we built this out in the branding bundles where it's like you have a new lead and then they go to book an appointment. And then after the appointment, what happens there? And then boom, they made the jump. They went from a prospect to a client. Before, we had a bot that could only take them from a new prospect to an appointment, and that was it. That was as far as the AI model at the time could take the prospect. But now you have AI bots where you can give it different goals and objectives. You can even give it different personas based on where the person's at in the process. So you could have a really warm, encouraging, persuasive bot that, talks to your prospect and gets them to book an appointment and follow up after the appointment. And then you can switch the persona. And so now the way that the client is receiving the bot and the way that the bot responds could be a little more empathetic because now they're a client. And so now when they reach out, we know that they have a question. So you can do all this stuff now with text bots. It's, before I look at where we're at now, Will, and I look at, how far we've come just as an industry with the AI that's available. And what we had before, we were one of the first people to launch an AI bot. ScheduleBot was incredible, but ScheduleBot is like a level 2 out of the complexity and the feature set that we have available now. It's just incredible how far it's come. And we talk about it here. I made a bullet point for it because I think it's important for those agency owners. You can use AI for your recruiting as well. And in the same way that you can have a text bot or a voice AI bot do some of the outreach for you and handle inbound, you can also have your AI pre-qualify the people that are applying to be a part of your agency, which helps
Yeah.
you. It helps them too, because if you have a texting conversation and realize they're not a fit, they don't need to waste time on an interview. But there's just so many ways that you can use AI in your agency to speed things along, reduce human error, and make sure that you've got these systems set up at the very top tier. Now, my last note on
Huge.
this, and then I'll turn it back over to you, Will. My last note is, as an agency owner, I want you to look at AI as a way to enhance what your team is doing. You're not replacing them, you are enhancing it. You're plugging
Yeah.
AI in to fill in the gap. Like Will said, add a safety net and make it so that your agency has a really good baseline of a tech foundation and things are just kind of happening without a human having to push buttons. So
Huge. Yeah. And I can hear some objections. I know a lot of people, it's this tension, this place we're in human history. We want to be personal. We want to engage. We don't want to take away that nature. But just to share from our own experience operating as a business, I look in our conversation history with users and I get these messages that say, "Oh, Will, thank you so much. I really appreciate you checking in." I'm like, when did I check in? Oh, wait, it was my automation. I
Yeah.
set a timed reminder, someone signs up, wait X number of days, send
Hmm.
text and say this. Is happening on autopilot, but my audience is feeling like they're being cared for. They have
Yeah.
opportunities or touch points where we remind them of the support resources, we give them tips, we invite them to calls. And it's not about tricking people, it's about serving them at a higher level and creating those touch points at a frequency that enhances service. Now, I can jump
Mhm.
in and pick up the conversation if I need to, but I'm amazed again and again how something that is run by a robot can still create what feels like a really meaningful touch point for your clients. And I would definitely encourage those who are watching to see what you can do to enhance your business through setting up some of these tools.
Love it. Love it. All right. So automations that increase productions. We talk a lot about automations internally, Will, and prior to ChatGPT, people understood AI as really like an automation that had a certain step point and certain weights. Like it was a predefined, series of actions that happen. And we're like, that's AI. Well, now that ChatGPT's out, we're like, okay, we can't call that AI because people don't think of that as AI anymore. But when it comes to like AI versus automations, I know you wrote down some automations here that it can increase productivity, but how would you describe the difference to an agency owner, and then talk about some of these automations that we've wanted to highlight for agency owners to implement?
Yeah, automations is especially the outbound nurturing sequences. So,
Mhm.
for example, if we're talking about booking leads faster, imagine a lead fills in a form. Now, for some of you who are paying for leads, it was someone told us it was like $10,000 a month they're spending on leads. That's an investment, and you don't want to lose that investment. You want to get them onto a calendar ASAP. So we have an automation. We call it 2.5 purple new leads. It's part of the predetermined mapped out sequence. The goal is they fill in a form, text them right away. Hey, thanks for filling in our form. Let's get you on a calendar. Here's the link.
Mhm.
And then a consistent drip of emails and text. Let's get them on that calendar. That's happening as you plug in your lead source so that those leads, booking them faster, also ensuring that that investment of marketing spend is rewarded with appointments and of course policy sales as well. And then of course lead nurture, some leads are not quite so ready to go. Some leads need
Right.
to sit and think about it, talk it through with someone. I'd probably be like a warm or cold lead right now for life insurance. I just had a son, and I'm just not feeling the motivation. I know I should, but I just honestly, just to give an example, I'm someone who I'll get around to it probably. And if you just dripped an email and text, it'll just kind of remind me. And then if I'm ready, once I warm up and decide to make sure my family's protected, um, you're the person I'm coming to because your lead nurturing messages
Yep.
have reminded me you're the person.
I
And
love it.
then
I rip your inbox, man. You're about to get flooded with messages.
ugh, joke's on you because my inbox is a mess.
Yeah.
So that's where text, if you text me, it will come through. And that's why we use text and email in most of
Yep.
our sequences because we want to make sure that the messages actually get to your clients or leads. Finally, appointment reminders, it's not just enough to get a lead. You got to get them on an appointment, but then you got
Mhm.
to get them to show up. And if they
Yep.
don't show up, what happens? So we've mapped out the full journey. And this is what you'll want to do in your agency as well, is have these pre-made assets that ensure, again, those handoff points or those passing of the baton. We don't want those leads to slip through the cracks. We want them to show up or reschedule if they don't. Or if we didn't close, we want to make sure, hey, what's next? Where do we go from here? Let me know when you've reviewed the options and keep them moving forward through a web of behind the scenes safety net automations, whatever you want to call them. You get the idea.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also renewal campaigns. This is a big one because
Ugh.
so many clients end up leaving because they don't hear from you. There was a story at 8% last year, 8% 2024. We had a mastermind. One of the agents, he was like, "Can I tell you a story of why I moved to agent CRM?" We're like, "Yeah, his name was Jackson." And Jackson goes, about a year and a half ago, I sold a family of four a term policy. So he's like, every single person in that family, I was able to ensure great sale. I had a great connection. He said a year after the sale, I ran into the dad at a grocery store and we were talking. He goes, I feel bad that I'm just now running into you, Jackson, because, just last week he bought a $1 million IUL, which is like crazy. And Jackson goes, oh my gosh, oh my God, I totally would have loved to help you. He goes, honestly, Jackson, I thought you were out of business because he had never heard from him. Well, after the sale was made, did not hear from Jackson. No emails, no
Ugh.
texts, no check-ins, no cards, nothing. Do not let the nurturing stop after you
Yeah.
make the sale.
And that's
So,
so preventable. That is like,
yes.
oh, total facepalm as a business owner. And that's a wake up call too. Some of you, I hope you don't have those horror stories, but any one of your clients could be that. Ugh. I've heard
Mhm.
that story a few times from you, Alex. Every time I just feel the pain.
Yeah.
We can
Cringe.
sympathize.
Yeah.
Oh. So
Yep.
the automated, they're just touch points, like once every month, an email that
Yep.
goes out that says like, hey, here's a hot tip about insurance, or hey, here's just something. Hey, if you need any help, I'm your guy. Especially nurturing like educational content's great because it adds value while also reminding them, I'm your guy, friendly
Yes.
neighborhood insurance agent,
And
and cross
on
sells,
that,
of course.
with the cross sell, this is
Yeah.
huge. Just simply sending an email and letting people know how you serve and support them, right? So, they come to you with one product and you can share some of the other things that you provide as well. One of my favorite stories around this is a guy named Lewis. He sells Medicare. He had a cross sell workflow where he introduced dental and vision plans. And just from that email, he said in 1 year he sold 413 dental and vision plans just from sending cross-sell emails saying, hey, when we talked about Medicare, I didn't bring this up. This is another product that I have. Now, in many cases, he actually did bring it up on the call and they decided not to move forward with it. But he sent the cross-sell email that was written in such a way that he put the responsibility on him for them not signing up and not talking about it. And it ended up creating a lot of sales for him, 413 sales to be exact,
Yeah.
which is incredible. So,
And
and
let's just clarify that too. You said he sent it, but actually the system sent it.
this
He
is,
doesn't
yeah, he
have
didn't
to
touch it.
remember.
Yep.
Yeah. And the goal for your agency is you want to make sure that there's a process where you have to remember as little as possible. So things that you often let slip through the cracks, or things that it feels like you're working way too hard on this, we can make sure that all you have to do, this is how we set it up, all you have to do is mark as sold, and then the cross sell will automatically happen. It might
Yep.
be 40 days later. And that brings us to the next one too, a referral request.
Mhm.
Automatically, I think this one we do 10, 15 days after a sale. You just
Yes.
mark it as sold. And then after we say, hey, it was great working with you. Do you know someone who um, maybe they could use help too? I love helping people in your situation. And what we've done is we've said, P.S., if you can think of someone, forward this email to them. And we include the calendar link. So they have a
Yeah.
low commitment. Just forward it. That's all they have to do. That's our automation process. But by Lewis sending, he didn't send. He just marks as sold, and then the things take over. Everything behind the scenes, renewals, cross sells, referrals happen automatically, so that those leads or now clients, they don't slip through the cracks. And
Yeah.
we're hopefully increasing the value of the contacts in our pipeline.
Absolutely. So just think about this as you're watching this agency owner. Think about this. How many agents do you have right now working for you? How many of them could be making cross sells that aren't simply because they don't have these automations? And how many referrals could your agents be getting? But they just don't ask. They forget. They're so busy
Yeah.
working the new leads. They just forget to go back to the leads they sold and ask for the referrals. So we want to set all that stuff up for you. We want to make this system work for you, generate revenue for you, and help you
Huge.
build a more sustainable business model, a more profitable business model, which leads to systems that scale with your team. Right. One of the things that Will really preaches internally at Agent CRM is consistency, consistency, consistency. We want the experience to be the same for every agent that comes through. And for you, it's the same thing. You want it so that every single agent has the same experience when they sign into their CRM. They know the system they're using. You know the system they're using. Like when every agent follows the same system, training gets easier and performance becomes
Hmm.
predictable. Like if you knew that every single one of your agents on your team, after they made a sale, 10 days later, these referral requests were going out. 30 days later, the first cross-sell emails were going out from your agent to their new sale. And you knew, okay, I know that this is happening. I know that we're looking to generate new sales from the sales that were made. It helps you. And it also creates accountability. It creates accountability because when they're using the same system, you know how to track the activity that your agents are doing. One of the common things that I hear from agency owners is my agents aren't working, right? Well, that may be true, but also now if they're using a system that tracks that and you know exactly what is the automation that they're using, what's the pipeline that they're using, like you don't have to try to figure out where the activity is, then it helps you keep your agents accountable. And when a good system is put in place, it helps make sure that no opportunities are slipping through the cracks. If you don't have a consistent system, it's really hard to scale and it's really hard to keep your agents accountable. Because if
Hmm.
every agent has their own thing that they're doing when it comes to like new leads and, managing opportunities, then it's really hard to check in because everyone has a different way of tracking it. But if they're all using the same system, like a branding bundle, then you can go in there and go, okay, let me see how they're doing. Let me see how many opportunities they have. Let me see how many appointments they had last week. It's all tracked the same way because that's the branding bundle. They're all using the same system. So
Yeah.
now let's continue the conversation about agencies. We've actually created a really cool way for them to take our branding bundles, make some slight tweaks to fit their working model, and then clone it. Talk about that, Will.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that we have seen with agencies is you might have great ideas, but the time it takes to implement your original ideas, it just kills any productivity. The steam runs out, and then you just get back to Google Sheets and post-it notes again and give up. Now, what we've done is we've mapped out the whole lead to client journey. We've created the whole structure, new leads, lead nurturing, appointments, appointment follow-ups, cross-sell, etc. And all of this is ready out of the box. I like to say our assets are maybe 95%
Mhm.
ready. You just have to maybe change one or two things, upload your logo, boom, it's done. But if you wanted to, you can also change some of the language or some of the process. But because we're using the bones or structure of what we call a branding bundle system, it's easier to train agents because the structure is consistent. Maybe it's your language, maybe
Mhm.
it's a few slight modifications, but having plug and play tools is going to dramatically speed up speed to value, speed to success, cut down that tech learning curve. There is
Yep.
definitely a learning curve regardless, but we can minimize that by using pre-made assets that are again 95% there, and then any adjustments can be made to get it more personalized. But having something ready, definitely, of course, we want to say sign up for Agent CRM, but we've seen agencies. It's a little sad, it's a little frustrating, it's a little humorous that we've partnered with agencies before who have wanted to build from ground zero,
Yeah.
and we've gone back and forth for months and created it. And then they changed their mind, going another direction. Oh, okay, no, we want to do this now. Oh, no, wait, no, that's not what we want to do. And I don't, yeah. And then
Yeah.
nothing ever happens and it fizzles out. And so for both your agency and your agents, um, you don't need to reinvent the wheel here. You need something that's close enough, launch it, we say imitate, then iterate,
Yes.
or initiate then iterate, whatever phrases you want to use. Just start with something and then you can get it dialed in as you go. lots of opportunity to get a head start and then to customize from there.
Yeah. Yeah. The big thing is make sure you have something that is
Yep.
working and then iterate from there. So
Yep.
now, how many of you who are an agency owner want to be answering questions about workflows and stuff like that? None of you, right? So it's important, bring a nerd into the room so that they can answer the questions. Like we have a team full of nerds. We all love agent CRM. We know agent CRM. We can support your agents. And the way that we support them is 24/7 live chat. We have daily Zooms, and we have an expert team that is ready and excited to build with you. One of the things that, as you're building out your agency, we talk about consistency. One of the areas where we see agencies have a hard time when they let their agents kind of do their own thing is unified branding, right? And so to put on a really professional face, you want to have a unified branding, like a unified brand kit, where every funnel, email, and message reflects your agency, right? So in the same way that if you're letting these other agents use their own system, it's really hard to keep them accountable. It's also really hard to make sure that the right messaging is going out, that the right things like colors and logos. We've seen some pretty crazy setups before where an agency of 5 agents will have all 5 agents using, a different CRM or no CRM, God forbid. And then the messaging and how the agency is introduced is different for all 5 agents. Like it's kind of a mess.
And
Now is
those
the
five
time,
agents
right
are
now.
representing you, right?
Yeah,
That's your
exactly.
reputation.
That is your business being represented by an agent who is not representing it well. And they're not doing it poorly out of they're not out of ill will. They just don't know any better. They're trying to build a system that is going to give them the results that they're looking for their business. And you haven't provided anything as the agency owner. And so they're just doing the best they can. Unfortunately, they're having a hard time. So, which is why you'll want to work with Agent CRM and our agency team or another provider like us to get a unified branding system set up. And then like and I mentioned this before, but we have agency plans where you get everything we're talking about. You get the tech support, you get all the workflows, the entire funnel system is set up and ready to go, and our support team. So our agency plan is great. If you're watching this and you're a new agency owner, you're like, I'm going to be starting my agency. Now is the time. You should definitely take action on the agency plan. If you are currently an agency owner and you have a team, now is the time to get everyone on the same page using the same system and upgrade the tools that you have and give them the support that they're looking for. Give them the type of, instantaneous support that they're going to be needing as they grow and scale. So, Will and I, we believe in the insurance agency owners' dreams and goals. We want you to be super successful with your business. And we know that, it's always been true, but it's especially true now. You have to have a good technology foundation to really grow a successful insurance agency. And we want to be the people in your corner that help you do that. So,
Yeah. I'm
what?
thinking of a
Yeah.
funny quote here from 8%. We had an agency owner who's working with us. They came up to us and said, Will, I'm so grateful. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you just have so much grace to answer all these dumb questions. And to be kind to our users, it's a lot. There's a lot to learn. But
Yeah.
some of the simple questions like, how do I make a phone call? There is training videos, believe me. But agency owners in the past who have tried to run their own system, tried to launch their own white labeled platform on Go High Level, stuff like that, where they start to just get all these questions that we've got a full team available for. So can't
Yeah.
remember who was that shared that, but yes, we
Yeah.
do get a lot of dumb questions, but we're here to help. That's the point. Is
Yeah.
that all
Yeah.
the things that your users, your agents need? We've got a full team that is more than patient and willing to answer those questions, so that you don't have
Absolutely.
to.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, you need to be doing revenue generating tasks. And you want to make sure that you have a team that can help you with the things that are not generating revenue. So if you're looking to build your tech stack, here's the steps. So number one, start with the outcome. Like one of the things that Will does a great job of with our team is when we're looking at a new opportunity, if we're looking at a new a task on our plate, it's like, all right, what is going to determine this task's success or this idea's success? And so we have to determine what the outcome is that we want. In the same way, for you as the agency owner, you have to determine the outcome. It's not just about adding a tool, right? Like there's agency owners, like I said before, that see AI tools and just throw it against a wall. Like, I'm going to add this to my agency. I think this will
Shiny new
help.
toy.
Yeah. But they don't really know how it's going to help. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, I'm pretty sure this is going to help us generate more leads or get more people or help answer customer service, but they don't exactly know how. So you want to start with the outcome you're looking for. Then you want to make sure that you pick tools to talk to each other. This is huge. And then you want to use pre-built workflows. My goodness, you do not want to be building out this stuff on your own. That's not a revenue generating task. You should not be spending any time as an agency owner building out a new workflow. That's what your tech person's for. There's a great book out called The Who, Not the How. You don't want to learn how to use Go High Level or how to build inside of Go High Level. You want to find the person who has already built out the Go High Level for your agency and then implement that so that your team can use it. And then finally, Will, talk about some of like the SOPs and the rules that these agency owners should be setting in place for their agents to use the CRM.
Yeah, standard process, huge. Like one of the things is they have to mark it as sold for the system to know what happens. So fortunately, because we're using our branding bundle structure, we train all of our audience on how to use the essential tools, how to make phone calls, what's the pace, but making sure that there's things like, yo, mark as sold and fill in the form. We've reduced the number of manual tasks, but as you roll out SOPs, even scripts, some of you agencies, you're working on dialing in those scripts so that the tone of voice or the words or the way you engage clients, making sure that these things are consistent. And if they're using the same system and they're using it the same way, that's going to help you scale. That's going to be a ceiling to your business if you don't figure that out. The ability to make things, and that's what we're doing. We're working on systems. We're working on SOPs, processes, and rinse and repeat. It's so boring. But you must become a master at these boring, tedious things and getting your agents to see the power of them too. I think the biggest thing here to say, Alex, is making sure that your agents understand the purpose behind these things. Like, hey, if you mark as sold, the referral request will go out, the cross-sell request will go out, and these things, and it will mean that you'll get renewals and you'll get more opportunities. So it's not just, hey, press the dang button. I'm watching you. It's, hey, do this so that this happens and this is the benefit to you. And then knowing data, having information on all these things like cost per lead, no-show rates, close rates. Data is gold in business. You cannot make good decisions without data. You can make a lot of gut decisions early on and hopefully get some home runs. But as you're growing, and if you're an agency, you're growing. It's not just you anymore. So you're trying to get to that next level. I assume that if you're watching this video, especially if you've made it this far in. So knowing what the data is and having tools that give you data, that's going to be the second piece. But tying it together here, your team needs to follow the steps so that you have clean data. So those two kind of go hand in hand.
Absolutely. And, as you're implementing agent CRM into your business, one of the things that, we've seen really help adoption is to show them why you're moving on to this new system, because they've been using a system before. Even if their system is no CRM, I'm using a Google Sheet, they've been using a system before. But now it's about helping them maximize every single contact in their database, getting more people on the phone, asking for more referrals on an automated basis, getting more cross-sell emails out the door. Like if you can demonstrate to them that this system is designed to help them make money, the adoption is going to be a lot easier. If they just feel like you're trying to arm wrestle them into a new system, then they're not going to be excited. But if they go, wow, I think Agent CRM is going to help me make more, now they're excited. So here's the final step. For those of you who are on this call, like, man, I got to start getting Agent CRM set up in my business. I recommend you going and signing up for a free trial. Get your hands dirty, check out our team, join a support call, go to agent-crm.com and sign up for a free trial. And then you'll be invited to join a consultation call where you can talk to our agency team about what does it look like to set up Agent CRM for your business. Like, hey, I want my logo on the top left instead of Agent CRM. I want to add a couple links on the left-hand menu. I want to set up these branding bundles so they're the messaging changes a little bit for my business. We can do all of that. But I think the
Mhm.
first step is just to sign up for a free trial so that you can experience it and kind of see what it's like before you bring it on to your team. So any final thoughts, Will?
No, I think this video is probably going to be found in a few places. So check the links below, probably the consultation link and the trial link. But do your agency and do your agents a favor by getting them tools that can help them win, getting them tools
Yes.
that will give them home runs, getting them tools that really can take them and your agency to the next level. That's what we're here for, as the nerds in your corner.
Thank you for watching, guys. I'm excited to work with you.